Good morning, Simpson Elementary. This is Mr. B coming to you from the art room. And it's about 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I understand they're not going to play Charlie Brown on the television. But if you get Western's channel, WKU, you might be able to see it on Wednesday night. However, I have the book. I'm going to read you the story. Can you name that character? I know you know him. I know you know him. Can you name that little character? That's Woodstock. So let's get started. Lucy always held the football for Charlie Brown to kick, and she always pulled it out from under him. It's Thanksgiving. She wouldn't try to trick me on a traditional holiday, Charlie Brown said as he charged at the ball. But Lucy yanked it away and asked, "Isn't it peculiar, Charlie Brown, how some traditions just slowly fade away?" "Holidays always depress me," Charlie Brown said as he checked the mail. "I know what you mean," replied his little sister Sally. "Why should I give thanks on Thanksgiving? What have I got to be thankful for? All it does is make more work for us at school." Thanksgiving is a very important holiday. Ours was the first country in the world to make a national day to give thanks. "What are you going to do on Thanksgiving, Charlie Brown?" Linus asked. "Sally and I are going over to my grandmother's for dinner," replied Charlie Brown. Ring, ring. "Hi, Chuck. This is Peppermint Patty. My dad said I could share Thanksgiving with you, Chuck. And remember that kid Marcy? She's going to join us, and Franklin too. See you." 3 guests for Thanksgiving, and I'm not even going to be home," moaned Charlie Brown. "You simply have 2 dinners," Linus said calmly. "Cook the first one yourself for your friends, and then you go to your grandmother's with your family for the second one." Charlie Brown's dog, Snoopy, was ready to help. First, he set up a table and lots of chairs in the backyard. "Okay, Snoopy, that's pretty good," Charlie Brown said. "Come on inside. We need some help with the food." The kids set up an assembly line to make Thanksgiving dinner. Charlie Brown and Linus put bread in the toasters. When the toast popped up, Snoopy spread butter on it. Then Snoopy raced around the kitchen, making popcorn and filling bowls with jelly beans, potato chips, and pretzels. Soon everyone arrived. It was time for Thanksgiving dinner. Wow, what a great Thanksgiving dinner. "Before we are served, shouldn't we say grace?" asked Peppermint Patty. Linus stood up. In the year 1621, the Pilgrims had their first Thanksgiving feast. Elder William Brewster, who was a minister, said a prayer that went something like this: "We thank God for our homes and food and our safety in a new land. We thank God for the opportunity to create a new world for freedom and justice." "Amen," Peppermint Patty said. On each plate, Snoopy proudly placed 2 slices of toast, a pile of popcorn, a handful of pretzels, and lots of jelly beans. Then he sailed each plate down the table like a frisbee. "What blockhead cooked all this?" Peppermint Patty asked angrily when she saw the funny food. Don't you know anything about Thanksgiving dinner? Charlie Brown got up from the table and sadly walked away. You're kind of rough on Charlie Brown, weren't you, sir? Marcy asked. Rough? We were supposed to be served a real Thanksgiving dinner, replied Peppermint Patty. Sir, asked Marcy, did he invite you for dinner, or did you invite yourself and us too? I never thought of it like that, Peppermint Patty admitted. Marcy, maybe you can go to old Chuck and patch things up for me. Marcy found Charlie Brown inside. Don't feel bad, Chuck. Peppermint Patty didn't mean all those things she said. I just feel bad because I ruined everyone's Thanksgiving, said Charlie Brown. But Thanksgiving is more than eating, Chuck, Marcy said. We should just be thankful for being together. Peppermint Patty peeked into the room. Apologies accepted, Chuck, old boy. Sure, Charlie Brown said. Good grief, it's 4 o'clock, Charlie Brown said. He called his grandmother and told her that all his friends were still there and that none of them had eaten dinner yet. So she invited everyone to Thanksgiving dinner at her house. Hooray! Cheered the Peanuts gang. They piled into the station wagon and began to sing. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Back at Charlie Brown's house, Snoopy and Woodstock decided to celebrate Thanksgiving on their own, with the turkey dinner and all the trimmings. Happy Thanksgiving. Now, have you ever thought about drawing Charlie Brown or Snoopy? Let's try this today. When you look at Charlie's head, it looks just like a circle. Okay? And his ears look like C's. See that? Okay? His eyes are dots. His nose is a backwards C. In this picture, he has little lines coming down from his eyes, like that. And of course, his mouth is just basically a simple line. So he's really not that hard to draw. And he usually doesn't have this much hair. But we'll put that on there too, okay? And of course his neck is very small. His shirt is something like this. And then of course his arms come out like that. Something like that. And then he's got a zigzag line across his shirt. It looks something like that. Okay, Snoopy's a little harder, but if you look at the portion of his face right here, it looks just like a C. So Schulz was really making his characters look very simple. Okay. Now Charlie's ear didn't stick out that much. So better. There we go. That looks a little better. Fix that. Now Snoopy's face, something like this. Ear like that. And his His eyes are simply lines. Like that. Big old dot for a nose. A little line for a smile. Like that. Of course, in this picture, he's got a hat on. Something like that. Wish I didn't make this come out far enough. Good thing about a whiteboard is I can erase it quickly. All right, and then here's a lot of little scribble. The hat has a lot of scribble on it, but I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. All right, and Snoopy's shirt comes down like that. He's actually wearing a coat. All right, then we're going to put a little turkey here. Like it's a couple of bones sticking out. Remember to pause the video. Catch up to me. All right, there's the turkey. And of course, here's the tail. All right, and I guess I could put a couple clouds up here. Kind of looks like it's outside. And if you want to put the bushes over here, you can. There you go. That's pretty close, isn't it? Of course, now I didn't put Woodstock in there. So if you want to look at this book and see Woodstock, you might be able to put him in there. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving.